in the last stream, we began work towards hopefully getting our first ultimate Singularity. Essentially, what we did over in this compact machine over in here is we set up a bunch of hydroponic beds, and then we made one of each seed required to make all of the singularities. The whole point of that, of course, is that we need the ultimate singularity in combination with the ultimate ingot to make creative essence, and if we want to complete the Chapter 14 chapter challenges, we need to get, I believe, 32 or 33, I'm not quite sure on the exact number, creative essence to make all of these creative items. So, to do that, we have to get 33 ultimate singularities and 33 ultimate ingots. The harder of the two is definitely going to be the 32 ultimate singularities, because each ultimate singularity requires 28 other singularities, and each of those require 5,000 of a given item. So basically, what I've gone ahead and done between streams here is I have tripled up on each of these seeds. So previously we just had one seed for example, uranium at the back here. Now we've got 3 Uranium Seeds, we've got 3 tin seeds, 3 diamond seeds, 3 redstone seeds, 3 of every seed required to get all of the singularities. And so things are moving a little bit quicker. Right now, we're not really anywhere close to the amount of essence that we need, especially for something like diamond essence here. Running the numbers, we need about 1.4 million diamond essence in order to make all of the diamonds required to make the diamond singularities. And so even though I have tripled up the hydroponic beds, and even though I've added 8 more of these fertilizer pedestals, we're still really probably not getting things anywhere near fast enough here in order to get the ultimate singularity within a reasonable time frame. And so I think at some point today, we are going to have to look at vastly increasing the speed at which we're growing a lot of this stuff, whether that be by adding a ton more of these pedestals or by adding more hydroponic beds, or maybe a mix of both. That's yet to be seen. But before we start working on that, if we head back out into the main room here, there are a few things that I'd like to work on, including getting our first quantum compressor. So to make the quantum compressor, we need 4 black iron ingots, 1 black iron slate, 2 elite catalysts, 1 elite component, and then the hard part is the 1 black iron frame. The black iron frame here requiring quite a big recipe, a fairly empty recipe, but it does have to be made in an ultimate crafting table with one of these Supreme machine frames. As of right now, our system doesn't know how to make these Supreme machine frames. However, teaching it how to make them really shouldn't be too difficult for us. It already knows how to make the advanced machine frame, as well as making things like plastic, netherite ingots, and diamond gears. The only thing it doesn't have right now is ether gas, and thankfully, we do have a tank in here that is full of ether gas, and so in theory, all we should really have to do is grab an external storage, which hopefully shouldn't take too long. So it turns out that the recipe has actually been changed here for quartz enriched iron. We have updated the pack, and it looks like now the recipe for quartz enriched iron is 3 iron ingots and then 1 quartz dust. I do believe we did teach our system previously to make quartz dust, and so this should hopefully be as simple as dropping this pattern in the bottom slot here, like so, and then replacing that nether quartz with dust, encode, and then if we just place that back in above the induction smelter, like that, we should hopefully now be able to request some more quartz enriched iron. Let me quickly make sure that I cancel that previous request. We'll go ahead and cancel there, and then quartz enriched iron. If I wanted a stack, start, that is going to get made. It is going to be slower than it was previously, and we should definitely get some flux linkage amplifiers in this pulverizer here to make this guy as fast as it can possibly be. This extra step here is going to make the production of quartz enriched iron a little slower. In fact, it's probably going to make it slow enough to where it might be worth us looking at adding a requester. We'll just go ahead and drop one of these down, and then if we quickly grab some of that quartz enriched iron, and I think what we'll do is we'll probably set this to like 512. That's quite a lot of quartz enriched iron, but I think we do burn through quartz enriched iron pretty quickly, and having that available to go as and when we need it is probably going to make a good deal of sense. Back in here, we should now be able to make that external storage. We can. If we drop that down onto our ender tank, like so, make sure it is set to fluids and not items, and then of course connect that up with regular old cable. This is going to look a little janky, but then again, so does a lot of the stuff in here already. So now our system should have access to that ether gas, and now if we head on back through to our pattern terminal, we should be able to teach our system how to make the Supreme machine frame. Encode. Again, if we hit the fluid button here, you'll see the ether gas is there. And if we drop that in on top of our dissolution chamber, like so, we should hopefully now be able to actually just request one of those Supreme machine frames. And it is going to take quite a lot of stuff and quite a bit of time, but if we hit start, that should get made. Now, the next step is teaching our system how to make the black iron frames, because I'd also like to teach my system how to make the quantum compressors. Because I think what we're probably going to want to do here is make one quantum compressor for each singularity, so 28 quantum compressors in total. What that's going to allow us to do is that's going to allow us to put down all 28 quantum compressors, give all of them an exporter, one of these guys from refined storage, maybe even an advanced exporter, although I don't think that's going to be strictly necessary. We can then teach our system, we're using the netherite crafters, how to craft the essence that we're making over in here into the actual resources, so diamonds, invar, redstone, etc. And then using crafting cards, we can export those items directly into the quantum compressors to make all of these singularities. Now, thankfully, one mod that has been added between this stream and the last stream is this mod right here, the Refined Storage Large Patterns mod. And if we go at large patterns, this mod adds just 2 items. It adds the large pattern encoder, and it adds the large pattern. These are both super useful items because they allow us to teach our system how to craft these massive recipes. And so if we go ahead and make this large pattern encoder, which really doesn't look too difficult, it does require 2 large patterns to make. And once we have 2 of those large patterns, we can go ahead and craft up the large pattern encoder. And if we drop this down, I don't think it needs to be connected to the refined storage system. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that you can put this down really wherever you like. If we put in the large pattern and then we type in black iron frame, we should be able to very easily, just as soon as we lower our GUI scale here, shift click in this and then click encode. And there we go. Now our system knows, or should know, I think, how to make this black iron frame. I'm assuming that this is fine. It looks a little janky the way it's organized it here. I'm actually not entirely certain if that is going to work or not. It seems to think it will. We'll give it a go to see if it does work. We'll also very quickly see if we can't craft up another one of those large patterns. And then we'll do the exact same thing here for the ultimate ingot. Encode. So now we have these. I think we are once again going to have to get brand new ultimate auto crafting tables because again, you can't use more than one of these at a time here. Thankfully, we did teach our system how to make these ultimate auto crafting tables. And so if we go ahead and just request 2 of those, hopefully they're not going to take too long to make. And then we can go ahead and place those down basically next to this pre-existing ultimate crafting table and essentially just repeat this setup here. We are still going to have to use the dark oak chest. We're still going to have the crafter 1 block up, but we should hopefully be able to teach our system to make both the ultimate ingots and the black iron frames. As far as the ultimate ingot goes, what we're probably also going to have to do is, again, teach our system how to make all of the ingots required here. We do already have, I think, everything set up to make all of these ingots, but for things like the slime steel ingots and the ironwood ingots and the night metal ingots, ones that we have seeds for, we are going to have to teach our system how to craft that essence into ingots. And to do that, we're definitely going to need some more netherite crafters. I'm actually going to go ahead and request 2 of these because we do have quite a lot of recipes that we're going to have to encode towards the end of the pack here. And not too long later, we now have 2 more ultimate crafting tables. We've also gone ahead and replaced the chests here with barrels at the recommendation of the Twitch chat because barrels, unlike chests, can be opened when there is a block above them, so we can look inside of these, because now, if we're going to teach our ultimate crafting tables how to make these, we are going to have to first put the recipe in, much like we did with the crystal tine ingot here. Now, what we have gone ahead and done, as you can see here, is I've encoded basically all of the remaining ingots that our system doesn't know how to make, or almost, I should say, all of the remaining ingots our system doesn't know how to make. We've also made 2 more netherite crafters and put them over here. So these ingots are all ingots that are just essences crafted. So we already have a ton of essence for all of these ingots. We just need to teach our system how to make those ingots so that we can then export them over here for the ultimate ingot to be made. We do then have this one for the silicon ingot. For that, we are going to have to upgrade this crafter. For now, we can probably go with a gold crafter just to save time because the netherite crafter does take a minute to craft. But if we quickly just take these out and pick this guy up, we can replace this with a gold crafter, and that will give us a bit more space to teach our system how to make things in the Supremium furnace. And we'll drop all these back in there. Beautiful. As you can see, the gold crafter here has a ton of space in it, more than we're probably going to need for the Supremium furnace going forward. And so now, chat, I think if I was to go ahead and request an ultimate ingot, I think our system knows how to make everything apart from the Ender Iron ingot. Now, the reason that that's not a problem yet is that we actually have at least one Ender Iron ingot. Oh, sorry, enhanced Ender ingot. The Ender Iron ingot it knows how to make. The enhanced Ender ingot is the one it doesn't know how to make. This is made in this guy down here, the Ender crafter. So we're probably also going to want to put a crafter on this guy, and of course connect that up to our refined storage system. And I think it really should just be as simple as encoding the recipes for that over here. Right now it is still very slow, and so we are going to probably want to request a few more of those Ender alternators as well to make it even faster. But just to get it started, let's go ahead and encode this recipe, like so. And then if we place those in here, I think that should work. And at that point, all we then have to do is drop an XNet connector right about there. Make sure that is connected up to the main XNet system. And of course, over in here, make sure that this guy is set to extract to pull its item's background into the Ender chest. So now let's go ahead and request one ultimate ingot, start and start. What that should do is that should start sending all of the ingots to this barrel here. Okay, so we've run into a slight issue. This did kind of work, but it also at the same time kind of didn't work. So the problem that we ran into here is that there's not enough space in this, like in a barrel or in the chest, to hold all of the ingots required to make the ultimate ingot. Now, in theory, that shouldn't be a problem, because normally the way this works, once we've taught our system how to make it, all of the ingots get sent to the barrel, and then one by one they get pulled down into the auto crafting table, and they get pulled down quite quickly. And so I was under the impression that we could just send everything to the barrel, and then as certain things were sent, they'd get pulled down, and there'd always be enough space. The barrel would just kind of be a buffer in the middle. But as it turns out, it looks like the refined storage system is doing a check ahead of time to make sure that there's enough space before it sends the items. So when I put the barrel here and I requested the ultimate ingot, it actually didn't send anything until we put a double chest down here. And unfortunately, you still can't open a double chest when there's an item above or a block above one of the chests. Now, we do have the iron chests mod in the pack, and I'm fairly certain that iron chests can be opened, and that's not how you make an iron chest, Isaac. That is iron plate. But I'm pretty sure that iron chests can be opened with blocks on top of them. They can, nice. Okay, so now going forward, if we were to request the same thing again, let's say we go ahead and request another ultimate ingot, start and start, that should automatically start to send everything into this iron chest. It did, nice. So now it should be a case of taking all of these ingots, and then if we quickly lower our GUI scale again, shift click this in, and then we just need to click up here. And there we go. The recipe is learnt, and you'll see it automatically pulled all of the extra ingots out of the iron chest, and it made another ultimate ingot. Nice. I don't know why we have... Oh, I thought we had an extra one there, but that's just the way that looks when it's faded. That is completely fine. And so now our system does know how to make the ultimate ingots, which is very nice indeed. The barrels here should be fine for everything that's not the ultimate ingot, because again, these don't require anywhere near as many items. So if we try the same thing for the black iron frame, start and start, we should hopefully see all of those items make their way into this barrel here just as soon as they are done. And there we go. Once again, we can grab all of those, and then in here, all we need to do is black iron frame, encode, and click. And there we go. This is also ready to go. Cool. So now, if we head back over to here, what we should then be able to do is teach our system how to make the quantum compressor. And I think right now it doesn't know how to make the elite catalysts. Never mind, it totally does. Does it also know how to make the elite components? It totally does. And so in fact, chat, I think all we have to do is drop the pattern for this into here. And then from there, we should be able to request 28 quantum compressors. We should put this black iron frame away first, so it doesn't make an extra one unnecessarily. But if we request 28 of those, that is going to work. Oh, we're missing pink slime, which makes a lot of sense because right now we do have a system in place that keeps the amount of pink slime that we have fairly low. So what we should probably do here is we should probably replace this tank with a higher tier tank. Question, chat, I actually don't know. Can you upgrade the tanks by like right-clicking on them with infused alloys? I assume that doesn't work, right? Chat is telling me I can upgrade the tanks here with the installers, which is 100% correct. Perfect. So it turns out that we actually didn't have a range add-on in our mob sorter factory, which was causing the problem there. So we actually weren't getting any pink slime because if you take the range add-on out and click the button, the range is not big enough to cover the area it needs to. I've also added a speed and efficiency tier 2 add-on to the factory here, so now it is killing the mobs even faster than it was previously. And so hopefully we should slowly but surely start to build up on pink slime here. It is going to take a little while, though, I think, to get up to the amount that we need, because again, if we want to get 28 quantum compressors, we need an extra 8.5 buckets worth of pink slime. Right now we have 5, so we need to basically triple the amount that we currently have if we're going to get to that point. So that is going to take a while. While we wait for that to happen, we can go ahead and request 1 quantum compressor just to get the quest completed. And then after that, I think we basically, chat, need to start working on massively increasing the rate at which we're getting a lot of these seeds. And actually, for some of these seeds, we still have like initial setup work to do. For example, the seed singularity is going to require 160,000 of any given seed. And so I think what we should probably do, as I mentioned previously, is look to set up maybe quite a few more phytogenic insulators and see if we can't get up to like 160,000 beetroot. Right now, the trouble is that this is full. And so right now, the beetroot here can't go anywhere, and so more beetroot seeds are not being made. Obviously, what we can do is get a void upgrade here, something I have taught my system to make between streams, and if we do something like this, that's going to delete those excess beetroots, and that's going to start making even more beetroot seeds, because of course we don't need more than 32,800 beetroots, but we do need 160,000 beetroot seeds, and so we do want to make sure we have enough storage upgrades in here to where it can store 160,000 beetroot seeds, but then get rid of any excess beetroots to make sure the seeds keep getting made. And like I said, I think what we're probably going to want to do to make that happen is basically teach our system how to make the phytogenic insulator, and then just set up an entire wall of phytogenic insulators that are dedicated to making beetroots. So I think we're going to put these down like this. And then we're going to need connectors, of course, on the back of all of those. We do have 14 connectors, though. That's more than 10 for those counting at home. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over here, we can do the same 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I think what we're going to want to do is I think we're going to want to stick with the 1x2 draws that we're using for the beats here. The Twitch chat has pointed out that we should probably pivot over to using something like melon for this part of the quest, because melons, unlike beets, can be crafted into seeds, and so much like with the beet seeds, we are going to make extra melon seeds, but we can also take the melons that we get from the phytogenic insulator, and then we can run those through a multi-servo press with an unpacking die to craft 1 melon into 9 melon slices, and then using our refined storage system, we can craft those melon slices into melon seeds. And so I think melons are going to allow us to maximize the number of seeds that we get from our phytogenic insulators. Basically, though, we can go ahead and quickly swap out the oak planks here for dark oak planks, because dark oak planks are the planks that we are making. And we'll also do the same with dark oak chests as well, because dark oak chests are the chests that we are making. Encode. Let's drop that in over here. And then let's go ahead and request 10 of those. Start and start. And then what I think I'm going to do, chat, is I think I'm essentially going to put one of these on top of each phytogenic insulator. What that's going to allow us to do is, much like with the phytogenic insulator that we have for beetroot, that's going to allow us to set all of these to auto output and auto input. So we'll have one slot here for melon cubes and one slot for melon seeds. We'll lock the draw. the melon seeds will get pulled back down to make more melons, and then the melon seeds and melon will get exported up, the melon seeds again pulled back down, and the process will repeat over and over and over again. And I think what we'll do from there is we'll make another draw controller, and we'll put that down, let's say like right here between these two drawers. If we do something like, that'll do, if we do something like this, what we should then be able to do is get an external storage. And please forgive the jank here, chat, but if we get an external storage, we can put that external storage on this draw controller, and that will give our refined storage system access to all of the seeds and all of the melons in all of these drawers. So let's go ahead and connect this cable up. I guess we'll just run it like that. So now those are connected, and we're probably going to have to do the same thing over on this side as well. Run those down and across like so. And now up in here, we should see all of the phytogenic insulators. Look at that. They're all there ready to go. So we want to make sure all of these are set to insert on power. We shouldn't have to do anything else on these. We don't need to extract or anything. They're going to be sent directly up into their adjacent drawers. So there we go. Those all have the power they need. And so now over in here, if we were to put in, say, the phytogenic insulator, I guess actually one thing we are going to have to do is give them all water, which we're probably going to want to do via XNet. We do still have some spare channels on the end here. And so if we can connect this aqueous accumulator up to the XNet system, much like we did over in here with this guy, then we should be able to use our XNet system to transfer water from that aqueous accumulator round to all of the phytogenic insulators. Okay, so quite a while later, and we have made progress with this system. This system is now fully online, by the way. We've filled this up with integral components and all these flux linkage amplifiers. We've set everything up so that they auto input and auto output, with the top set to input and output and the back set to input for the water to come in. And it turns out that none of this is necessary. You'll see we've got quite a few melons now, which is good. You'll see we have 587 melons. We actually got those quite quickly. And as it turns out, PhytoGrow is actually super useful here. We did make a bit of this before. The PhytoGrow, if we press U on it, increases the primary modifier by 3 times and the secondary modifier by 3 times as well. Basically, what that means is that if you have PhytoGrow in the bottom here, instead of getting 1 melon and 1 seed per cycle, you actually get 3 melons and 3 seeds per cycle. And not only that, it also reduces the amount of energy required, and there's only a 75% chance that the PhytoGrow actually gets used. So you get 3 melons every single time this cycles, and for us that equates to 27 seeds, which is very nice indeed. However, as I mentioned, none of this is necessary because, as the Twitch chat pointed out, admittedly a bit too late, but as they did point out, we can in fact just craft melons using nature essence, and right now we do have 65,000 nature essence. We can then teach our system how to craft how to turn the melons into melon slices using the multi-servo press here. So we'll encode that, making sure to get rid of that packing die. We're probably going to have to make another multi-servo press for that, but that's fine. And then, of course, from there, we can just teach our system how to craft the melon slices into melon seeds, encode. And so with that, we should probably just be able to request the 160,000 seeds, or at the very least, once we get all of the quantum compressors, we should just be able to use the crafting card and an exporter to export all of the seeds required fairly quickly. We don't have to worry about using any of these phytogenic insulators, although if we didn't have the nature essence, this I think would be the better way to go potentially. But for now, we do have, over here, we've got 17,500 millibuckets of pink slime, so if nothing else, this little waste of time over here did give our system time to back up on pink slime. And so now, if we go and request 27 more quantum compressors, start and start, our system is now able to do that. And so basically, chat, all we need to do now is find a place to put down 27 quantum compressors. We might even look to setting up maybe another compact machine for that, although in fairness, we could maybe put it in here. This machine does have a fair amount of space left in it, but we need to find a space to put down 28 quantum compressors along with 28 exporters. We need to fill all 28 of those exporters with crafting cards and potentially speed upgrades as well. We then need to teach our system over here, using these new netherite crafters, how to craft all of the essences, so things like Uranium, diamond, nickel, all of the essences that are over in here. We need to teach our system how to craft all of these essences into items, and then have all of those items exported to the correct compressor. And then from there, we basically have to wait. Now, the amount of time that we have to wait is going to depend on how fast we make all of this, Because right now, I still think this is not fast enough. I think we would still be waiting like weeks, if not months, at the current speed to get up to over 1 million diamond essence. You know, right now we've got 38,000. It's not coming in particularly quickly. And so I do think, chat, that we're going to want to increase the rate at which we're getting things here. So now that we have all 28 quantum compressors, one for each of the singularities required to make the ultimate singularity, we are now once again faced with the fact that we need to get 160,000 of each and every one of these resources, and especially for things like diamond, that means that we need to get a ton of essence. We calculated it out. It's about 1.4 million diamond essence to get all 160,000 diamonds to make the 33 or 34 diamond singularities that we need. And right now, over in here, this setup has been running for a few days, and we've got about 60,000 diamond essence, which means if we were to leave this at its current speed, it would take months, at least over 1 month, potentially over 2 months, to actually get 1.4 million diamond essence, and that's with this world loaded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so, after talking with the Twitch chat, I think we're going to have to kind of abandon this idea, the idea of using a ton of hydroponic beds, and instead pivot over to trying to use some of the farmland from Mystical Agriculture. So there are different tiers of farmland here. They go from Inferium all the way up to Supremium, and actually Insanium as well. And we have used these a little bit earlier on in the series. We used it up on the farm that we had over here. Now, the higher tiers of farmland don't actually make the seeds grow any faster, but what they do is they give you more drops per harvest. So we did some testing, and on Prudentium farmland, every time you harvest a seed, you get 1 and sometimes 2 essences for every seed harvested. Whereas with the Supremium farmland, every single time we harvested a seed on that farmland, we got 3 essences. And so we can essentially triple the amount of essence that we get per harvest by using Supremium farmland as opposed to Prudentium farmland. And so the plan really is probably going to be to try and teach our system how to make Supremium farmland, because we're going to need a lot of it. And then we're basically going to duplicate the system that we have here with the plant gatherer and the plant sower many, many times. So we have 24, I believe, different seeds over here that we're currently growing. Right now we have 3 of each seed. Basically what we're going to want to do is take all of these seeds out of here and then set up small 3x3, maybe 5x5 farms for each and every one of those seeds using Supremium soil with a fully upgraded plant gatherer and plant harvester. By fully upgraded, I mean in terms of speed and efficiency upgrades. We don't need to make it fully upgraded in terms of the size that it can cover, but that's kind of the plan. So to do that, we're first going to want to teach our system how to make plant gatherers, because again, we're going to want to request maybe 23 more of those and encode. I don't think our system knows how to make iron axes. Thankfully, that's a very easy recipe for us to teach there. And at that point, I think that's basically everything that our system needs to know. I think it knows basically everything else for the plant gatherer. Let's quickly give that a test. If I wanted 23 of those, can you make it happen? You cannot, because once again, we are using the wrong kind of gold gear there. That is fine. Let's just quickly swap those out for the gold gears that we can make. Start and start. Boom, boom, and re-encode. And so now if we try that once again, drop you in there, and see if we can't make 23, start, and start. Beautiful. We then want to do the exact same thing with the plant sower, I believe it's called. Yeah, this guy right here, we're going to want to make 23 more of those as well. We need 24 in total, but we already have one up on the surface. Again, let's swap out those iron gears there for the iron gears that our system doesn't know how to make. Really? I thought we taught our system how to make iron gears. That is fine. For now, we can just do this and this. Go ahead and encode that. And then we can also go ahead and do something like this and get rid of that, encode, and we can put that in on top of this multi-servo press, which once again is out of space. That is completely fine, just like we did earlier with our Supremium furnace. We can simply upgrade to a higher tier crafter, thus giving us more slots above the multi-servo press here. And there we go. We now have a ton more space above that multi-servo press. And so now, let's have a look. Do we have what it takes, just as soon as we put this recipe in over here, to request 23 plant sowers? We do not. We're just missing the flower pots, which currently our system does not know how to make. That is hopefully going to be fine. I think our system does have a decent amount of clay. It also might not know how to make bricks. I'm actually not entirely certain. We're about to find out. 23. It does not. That is also fine. Let's quickly teach our system how to smelt regular clay into bricks. Encode, we'll drop that in, of course, above the Supremium furnace. 23 sowers, start and start. So that should be done fairly quickly. At that point, we're going to need a lot of Supremium dirt, or Supremium farmland. So 9 Supremium farmland. What I want to test here, chat, is I kind of want to test how fast the plant sower and plant gatherer is. Because one problem that we're running into with our hydroponic beds, or even the main problem that we're kind of running into with our hydroponic beds, is the fact that the hydroponic beds don't harvest the plant fast enough. So the pedestals accelerate the growth of the seeds so fast to the point where the hydroponic beds can't harvest them quick enough, and so the hydroponic beds are the bottleneck slowing us down. So what I want to test here is if we set up a 3x3 farm, so 9 Supremium farmland, is the plant gatherer or the plant sower going to be our bottleneck? If it's not, we can look at making a bigger farm, maybe a 5x5 or potentially even 7x7, 9x9, as big as we like. But if instead the plant gatherer or the plant sower is the bottleneck, even on a 3x3 farm, at that point, we're probably going to want to look to have more smaller farms as opposed to bigger ones, right? If that makes sense. So I've set up a very basic testing bed here. We've got the plant gatherer and the plant sower. They are both fully upgraded with the tier 2 and speed and efficiency add-ons. And if we look at the range here, I think the range by default is not particularly large. It's not. So we want to make a range add-on that is, I think, the perfect size. I actually think the stone range add-on will work, this first one here. So real quick, let's just teach our system how to make those, because as with everything in the dissolution chamber, especially things that require liquids, it's just easier for me to drop in a pattern on top. I think, again, this is one of those situations where, yeah, we could do with a bigger crafter now, because the crafter that's already on there is out of space. So we'll quickly replace this crafter right here. And once we have that bigger crafter and the add-on in, we can go ahead and request 2 of those stone range add-ons. Again, you don't want to make a range add-on that's too big, because if you do, then the harvester will spend time scanning blocks for plants to harvest that it doesn't need to scan, and that will slow down the harvester in the long run, I believe. And so instead, we just want to stick with the very basic add-ons, which hopefully should be coming in any second now. There's the first one. We'll drop that in like so, and that's going to make that into a 3x3, which is perfect. And then I'm pretty sure we can do the exact same thing with the plant sower, like so. And again, if we view the working area of that one and hide the working area of the plant gatherer, we can see it covers the exact same area. Nice. So the test here is I'm going to fill this with, for now, Inferium Seeds. And I'm going to say to put Inferium Seeds in every single one of the slots here. Like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab all of the pedestals in here. We're going to break every single one of these, trying not to break the glass. Beautiful. We got 9. And then I want to see how many of those we can put down before our limit becomes the plant gatherer. Down here, by the way, we currently have an item pipe that is set to extract. We're going to go ahead and whitelist the Inferium Seeds to make sure that the Inferium Seeds that are harvested get sent down into the ender chest, which is where everything is going to be sent, including the essence, and then only the seeds get pulled out into the plant sower. So let's go ahead and add the seeds and submit. So only those should get pulled down, out and around into here. Perfect. So now let us see how good this is. So with one pedestal, you can see this is nowhere near fast enough, like nowhere near too fast, I should say, actually. If we start putting more of these pedestals down, we should hopefully start to see these growing significantly faster. And at that point, it's a question of whether or not the harvester is fast enough to harvest them. So here we have all 9 of the pedestals down with the fertilizer upgrades on them. And you can see the plant harvester here is picking them up a lot faster than the hydroponic beds were. It's not instant. Like, there are still a few plants that stay down for, maybe a second or two longer than they should. Some maybe more than a few seconds, maybe. But it's definitely, I think, a lot quicker than the hydroponic beds downstairs. If we go take a look at them again, you'll see that quite a lot of plants will grow and then we'll just kind of sit there for a while, waiting to be harvested. Like this. And eventually the hydroponic bed will catch up and harvest it. But they stay like way longer than they should, which really slows down the process. Whereas up here, not only are they harvested faster, they're harvested very quickly, they're also planted very quickly as well. And we also have 9 of any given seed. So at this point, what we're basically going to do is we're going to take this setup here and try and basically duplicate it 23 more times. We obviously don't need one for these seeds in particular, so we can stop this one using Inferium seeds. What we're instead going to go ahead and do is we're going to head back into here. We're going to grab, for example, let's say uranium seeds. Right now we have 3 of them. Obviously, we don't currently have 9 uranium seeds. While we could look to make 9 uranium seeds manually, I think the better option is going to be to use this system, because unlike the hydroponic beds, the plant gatherer and the plant sower system actually increase the number of seeds that you get, because you actually get seeds back every time you harvest as well. So if we just do something like this and tell this to only plant uranium seeds, and we put those in, we should see the uranium seeds get planted. They should be accelerated, they should be harvested, and in hopefully a very short period of time, we should see all 9 of these filled in, because it shouldn't take us too long to kind of duplicate the number of seeds we have from 3 up to 9. And then we basically want to do the exact same thing for all of our other 23 seeds, duplicating them until we have at least 9 of them, and then setting up a system like this 23 more times for every single one of those seeds. To make that happen, we should definitely come over here and teach our system how to make those fertilizer upgrades. Again, that shouldn't be too difficult. Right now, I think our system does know how to make bone blocks. It does, perfect. And it also knows how to make bone meal, I'm pretty sure it does. And we've got 5,000 bones ready to go. We can also teach it how to make the actual pedestal upgrade base in the induction smelter. And as of right now, it does know how to make blocks of gold, but it doesn't know how to make blocks of uranium, nor does it know how to make blocks of zinc. It could. We can then, of course, drop all of those in over here. Of course, apart from the upgrade base, that wants to go in over there. And then now we should hopefully be able to start requesting these pedestal upgrades. We can, yeah, we can request a stack of them. And we're going to need it, again, because if we want 9 pedestal speed upgrades on 23 different farms, that means we're going to need 207 of them, which our system is not quite capable of. It's missing 9,000 zinc. However, I am pretty sure that we have zinc essence. Yeah, we got 20,000 of it. And so real quick, if we also teach our system how to craft the zinc essence into zinc ingots, and then we drop that in over here as well. At that point, I imagine we probably do have what it takes to request 207 of these. We totally do. Nice. Chat is also pointing out that I'm a fool there. You don't actually need 9 per farm, because you can double these up. For example, if we have another farm right next to this one, it will be able to share some of those pedestals with the adjacent farms. That might make them a little less efficient. I'm not entirely certain, but I think that would definitely be the better way of doing it, as opposed to trying to make 207 more of these. And way too much time later, we have now essentially taken that initial setup that we had for the Uranium Seeds and duplicated that multiple times over for every single one of the seeds that we used to have in our compact machine. And we've added an XNet system to that to allow all of our machines to be powered, and also to get all of the essences and all of the seeds into the right location. So if we come and look down at the bottom here, essentially what we've done is we've set up 3 channels. The first channel is the power channel. If we go right to the bottom, as per usual, we have the ultimate energy cube that is getting power from our Flux network and then feeding that to every single one of the machines here. We then have 2 more channels. Each of these are item channels, and these are essentially used to move all of the essences and all of the seeds into the correct location. And in doing this, I actually learned about a new feature of XNet that I've actually not used before, and that is the filter slot at the top here. So essentially what we've done on channel 2 is we've set all of the plant gatherers to extract, and we've set all of the plant sowers to insert, but specifically what we've done for each of the plant gatherers is we've set the filter index here to 1. So if we go to here, for example, and we click create, by default, the filter index is just set to off. It's not needed at all. And up until today, I actually had no idea what this button did, but essentially, this button allows you to cycle through these 4 filter slots at the top of the XNet controller. So each time you click, it cycles through all the way up to 4 and then back to off. We want ours set to 1. And then what you can do is if you grab one of these filter modules, which are super easy to make, it's 1 iron, 1 hopper, 1 paper, and 2 redstone, you can then right click on these in your hand. And then this is essentially a much more advanced version of the filtering that you get inside of the controller. Because the problem we were running into is that there are so many seeds and only about 18 slots to whitelist or blacklist items in the actual controller itself. So there was no way that we were going to be able to filter every single one of the seeds in this slot. And in this interface in general, there's no way to say, take all items that have the tag Mystical Agriculture Seed, right? We did play around with the tags metadata and MBT buttons, but we couldn't quite get it to work. And so essentially what we've done is we've made this filter. And then if we type in mystical, you can see Mystical Agriculture Seeds and Mystical Agriculture Essences. For this one, we click Seeds, and that adds it. And then now, if you hover over it, you'll see that we essentially have a filter for every single Mystical Agriculture Seed. And so when we put that in slot 1 and set all of these to extract filtered by slot 1, what that does is it tells this channel to extract everything that is on this filter from all of these plant gatherers and insert them into all of these plant sowers. You'll also notice the priority on the plant sowers here is set to 10. The reason for that is that right at the bottom, we also have an insert for this Supremium seed reprocessor. Again, not particularly difficult for us to make. The basic seed reprocessor is all stuff we've made before: Solium ingots, iron ingots, machine frames, and hose. And then you just run through the standard process of upgrading those all the way up to the Supremium tier. And essentially what this does is it takes all of the excess seeds that we have, for example, these coal seeds here, and it will turn each seed into 1 essence. So these remaining 12 coal seeds here will become a 12 coal essence, and then those are extracted out and sent around into the ender chest using this item pipe. Speaking of this ender chest, the third channel here has all of these items also set to extract. The only difference is that these are set to filter index 2, and so this extracts from all of the plant gatherers and sends all of the essences, because filter index 2 is another filter module, but this time with Mystical Agriculture : Essence as the filter. So that's going to extract all of the essences from all of the plant gatherers and send those down and around into the ender chest. This ender chest right here has our standard blue, white, blue frequency. That's the same frequency as the ender chest that is over in this sphere right there, which also has an importer on it, pulling items into the refined storage system. And so essentially, this XNet controller should pull all of the essences from wherever they are and send them around into this ender chest, which in turn sends things to their respective storage drawers in the refined storage system, and takes all of the seeds from all of the plant gatherers and sends them through the Supremium seed reprocessor and then into the ender chest into the refined storage system. Now, there is currently one problem with that, and you'll notice it as soon as we start opening up all of these plant gatherers, and that is that you'll notice that the seeds are not actually going anywhere. They're kind of backing up, which is unfortunate. The reason for that is that right now we have a basic red connector connected to the back of the Supremium seed reprocessor, and the Twitch chat is telling me that the Supremium seed reprocessor actually has the same inputs and outputs as a vanilla Minecraft furnace, meaning that you actually have to insert from the top of the machine and then extract from the bottom, like you would with hoppers on a regular furnace. Thankfully, we don't have to redo too much. All we need to do here is break this connector and instead replace it with an advanced connector, because these advanced connectors here can specify which side they insert and extract from, despite the fact that they're not on that side. So once again, if we come in here and we head down to the seed reprocessor, here we're going to set this to insert. Again, it's a lower priority, and so the seeds should go to the plant sowers before they come to the seed reprocessor. The reason for that, of course, is that we want, for example, all of the Constantan seeds to first go to this plant sower if they can. Also, by the way, you'll notice there's only 1 stack of seeds in each of these plant sowers. That's because all we've done here is we put in 1 seed and then hit the lock button. That's essentially making it so that no other seed can get into this plant sower, and it will always be steel seeds. You'll never end up with like Constantan or diamond seeds in here at all. But back down here, all we should have to do is make sure, of course, that is set to insert. And then if we go ahead and set the side to operate from to up, that should then, there we go, begin moving all of the seeds from their respective gatherers and sending them around into the Supremium furnace. It does look like this guy needs power. That is completely fine. We can just set that to insert on the power channel. And there we go. It is going to take a little bit of time, I think, to run through the backlog of seeds that is here. But I think in general, this seed reprocessor is reprocessing seeds much faster than they're being generated. So over time, this should eventually burn through the backlog and it just be working at normal speed. Now, the only problem we did really run into with this, and one that you might have noticed if you've been paying close attention, is that we don't actually have all of these pedestal fertilizer upgrades down. The reason for that is that we actually ran out of liquid XP in our jumbo tank. We used all of it and enchanted as many as we could. I guess technically we could still put these down, like we can add them in. These are not enchanted, of course, and so we're going to be nowhere near as fast as the ones that we did put down. Again, we can still put these down if we'd like. They are still going to make a bit of a difference, albeit not quite as much as the fully enchanted ones. And of course, going forward, if we'd like, we could look at enchanting these as we get more liquid XP coming in from our mob farm. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with this system. It does appear to be working. Once again, the phantoms are back because we have not slept in quite a few nights here, but that is completely fine. You'll see right here, this is where we were doing all of the enchanting. And we do still have a couple of pedestal upgrades here as well. These are the ones that didn't quite get all of the upgrades we wanted. For example, this one has area 5 and range 5, but doesn't have speed 5. The same is true here as well, just in a different order. So these ones are basically the same as these guys. They are not particularly fast, but they cover a huge area, unlike these guys, which are not particularly fast but cover a small area. Either way, both of those are not particularly useful because what we're really after is speed more than anything else. But I'm hoping that slowly but surely, over the course of the next few days, we should start to see quite a lot of essence coming from this system here. Unfortunately, because we couldn't get all of the pedestal upgrades down, that is going to drastically slow down the speed. We're not going to get them anywhere near as fast as we're getting, for example, these Uranium Seeds here, because this does have kind of the full suite of upgraded pedestals. And at the recommendation of the pack developer in the Twitch chat, I'm thinking what we might do in the next stream is we might look at actually setting up a completely different way of generating resources. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with this system here, but once again, I think it's going to take multiple days, if not a week or more, to actually get all of the essences that we need if we just wait for this system to produce them. And what we can do alternatively is we can look at using blank ore. It's super easy to make. It's made by putting dust into a combiner. And basically, every time you break the blank ore, you get another random ore. So you might get iron, you might get diamond, you might get redstone, you might get lapis, etc., etc. And so if we can set up a system that produces a ton of dust, which we should be able to do using igneous extruders, we can then process that dust into blank ore, and then if we rapidly place and break that blank ore over and over and over again, we should get an incredible amount of ore, which we can then look to process. What we probably won't end up doing is processing it, unfortunately, through our ore quintupling system, simply due to the fact that the ore quintupling system is rather slow. It's efficient, it gets us a lot of ingots for our ores, but it's not particularly fast. What we'll instead probably look at doing is just setting up a bunch of fully upgraded super fast smelting factories or enriching factories and using those to process all of our ingot ores and all of our gem ores into hopefully a ton of resources that we can then use in conjunction with all of the essences that we're getting from this system here to hopefully get all of those singularities within a couple of days as opposed to a couple of weeks. That's the plan, but that's a problem for future Isaac. For now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's stream there.